Welcome back to Soul to Self, the Inner Compass. I'm your host, Victoria, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's not another deep dive interview or teaching session, it's more of a breath, a pause, a moment to honour what this first season has been and to gently look towards what's next. When I launched this podcast, I didn't fully know what it would become. I just knew that I wanted to speak from the soul, to share stories, and to create something rooted in truth, not trends. Looking back over the episodes, a few common threads have kept weaving themselves throughout. And honestly, it's been really lovely to be part of those conversations and also to witness them. Resilience was one of the themes that's come up most often, and one that I find both fascinating and deeply inspiring. Whether it was Hannah's raw honesty, Vanessa's incredible healing journey, Jenny's insights to PMDD and burnout, or Maddie's bold visibility even when facing scrutiny, or Maddie's bold visibility even when facing media scrutiny. There was this real thread of returning to self throughout these challenging times. And people didn't sugarcoat their stories. They were real, honest, and human. And in each one of them, there was something really powerful that they had managed to learn, or a lesson that they'd managed to take away from things that they had experienced or been through. And they were able to see like the deeper invitations to turn these really hard moments in some cases into growth and opportunity. It was really humbling and really expansive. I think then came one of my favorite themes to talk about was kind of energy in alignment. I was really aware, especially throughout the solo episodes, that I had messages that I wanted to and needed to bring forward. Reminders that while strategy is useful, it's the soul, the frequency, and the why behind it all that sustains us. It really doesn't matter how good your plan is, how smart your launch is, or how well you've mapped it all out on paper. If your energy isn't there and isn't in it, if your heart isn't lit up by what you're doing, then it's not going to work for the long term. You can't plan or strategize yourself into alignment. You can't force yourself to live something that doesn't feel like it's yours. And honestly, you have to be really precious with your energy. The energy that you give, the energy that you receive, the energy you're surrounded by, and the energy you have to work with on a daily emotional and physical level. And this was a key thread throughout the season, not just doing business with strategy, but doing it with soul and with honesty and with energetic responsibility. And it's something that I'm really looking forward to exploring more in the future. So many of my guests, and maybe even you listening, are navigating that really sacred space between who you've been and who you've become. And it's not always easy. It's not linear, and it's certainly not tidy. It can be very messy. It can unfold beautifully, but equally, it can be really challenging because who you've been and who you're becoming, you can't rush this work. You shouldn't rush this work, and it's not something to fix or control. It's something that you have to be part of and witness and allow to kind of, or do you have to breathe through it and allow it and allow you? Because sometimes owning your truth means letting your truth change. So your goals might be changing, your dreams, your desires, even your personality might shift as you grow, heal, and peel back all those layers of who you thought you were to really make space for who you really are now and who you want to be as well. So I know myself, having gone through this, I questioned things that I once stood for. You might realize that your values, your real felt and lived values evolve, and maybe sometimes they even change. It's not confusion or inconsistency. It's coming home to yourself. It's coming home to that version of you that you want to be. It's kind of allowing yourself to reconnect and redefine. So if you've been feeling that energy shift within you and your identity or your direction, your way of working, living, and being, you're not lost. You're just listening, you're deepening, and sometimes you just have to follow that inner compass that I keep speaking about, because it's where there are clues. It's where things get louder. It's where you know what you want, and it's okay to change. Your truth, as long as you own it, then it can be what you want it to be. You can be who you want to be. Your past doesn't define you. And that was really evident in a few of the stories that we shared and with a few of the guests that we spoke to. They had been through things in their past that weren't part of themselves now. They had done things or lived in certain ways that just weren't in line with who they are now. And they didn't berate that version of themselves. They accepted it, they sat with it, and they allowed it to evolve. And that is super powerful. I really, really enjoyed those conversations, and I really, really love that subject and talking about it. So, what's coming next? What's emerging? I've felt a lot of shifts in myself going through this podcast journey. Actually, podcasting itself has been a pleasure, but it's been a massive and steep learning curve. Even recently, I had some tech issues, which meant that episodes that were done and up and loaded and in the ether weren't actually really in the ether. So it's been needing to surrender to the journey and not fight it too hard. So hopefully I've learned some things along the way that will make the next season run that bit smoother, be easier from my point of view, and also sometimes from the guest's point of view. So as I've recorded, edited, listened back to some of these episodes, I've also seen where I was shrinking within my life, where I've been sort of on a journey of trying to make things fit into neat boxes, where I've been holding back a little because my truth has dramatically changed over the last sort of 6, 7, 8 years, really. My soul was calling for more depth, more me. And over that period of time, I avoided that, and I've been masking, trying to be someone on occasions to be more accepted. The journey that I've been on has been really interesting, and I will talk more about that. But I've learned to really notice where I feel most alive, where I feel most useful. It is here. I love having soulful and sometimes edgy conversations, just sharing my thoughts with you and sharing what I see coming up from people on their spiritual and business journeys. And I love connecting the dots and giving voice to those patterns that I notice in myself and other people. And I absolutely love speaking with amazing humans who are doing their work in the world in their own special and meaningful ways. So what I hope this season highlighted, especially for you, is that your journey is about you. What's right for you, what's aligned for you, and what feels yours. There are so many different ways of doing things, and all of them can be right, and all of them can be wrong, depending on who's doing them. And until you find the way that makes your inner compass spark, the way that feels more like home, you'll keep feeling like you're forcing things. You'll keep feeling like you're failing. You'll keep feeling unhappy. And it doesn't have to be that way. In business and in life, try the tools, try the ideas and strategies that I share or anyone else shares. Try the advice you're given. But don't force yourself to keep what doesn't work for you. Find your own way. Lean into taking a bit of this and a bit of that and finding out what's your truth. And coming back to that truth again, aren't we? The only small caveat that I have on that is always check in, just gently and honestly with yourself, that you're not avoiding the aligned path because of any fear, resistance, or kind of trauma. And the reason I point that out is because that has been a thing for me. I absolutely rebelled against something that was aligned for me, but I pulled so hard away from it because there was this fear of growth and of fully embodying my truth and what I wanted, because it was quite dramatically different from where I was like 2-3 years ago. And so it felt like I was kidding myself. It felt like I was trying to make something fit that wasn't right. And actually was right. It's very right. It was just fear that was causing that massive resistance. So when I addressed the fear with love and gentle patience, lots of patience, I was able then to kind of move forward and, make sure that you're not staying stuck because it feels safe rather than stepping into the unknown. Trust that you know what to do. Check in lovingly. Be wise about it. You know when something is no longer serving you. I think that's really the direction that season 2, I hope, is heading in. We'll be talking more about honouring your nervous system in business and life, building like sustainable visibility and strategies within business. I'm not going to go too heavy on that, but I do think as business owners, for most of the people that listen to this podcast, that will be useful. Reconnecting with the part of you that already knows, and I've experienced this year. So reconnecting with that part of you that knows the truth, knows your truth, and how we do that gently with love. Letting go of what no longer serves you. This is actually quite hard because sometimes when something's no longer serving you, other people really want to keep it within your remit. And that can be like friendships, relationship dynamics with family. It can be anything like jobs even. But sometimes you know what is good for you. You know what brings you joy. And so you have to release. And with that comes that kind of creating boundaries, not just with other people, but also with yourself, learning how to walk your path, not from a place of push and burnout or comparison, but from a place of truth. So hopefully season 2 will be less about like doing more and more about doing what feels true in ways that make your heart and soul expand. The beautiful thing about following your inner compass is that it always leads you back home, back to self, back to clarity, and back to joy, hopefully. So anyway, I don't want to waffle on. If any of my guests from this season have been listening to this, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. You are all incredible, and I have been completely in awe of your journeys. And everybody else, if anything has particularly resonated with you, or there is anything else you would like me to talk about or hold space for, please get in contact and let me know. And in the meantime, between the seasons, just consider, what am I being invited to remember, reclaim, or realign with as I move forward? I'll be back in July with season 2. More groundedness, soulful truth, and conversations that hopefully meet you where you are. There'll be a lot more solo episodes this next season, and guest episodes I think will be coming as bonus conversation episodes. I already have some incredible people lined up for the deep and juicy real talk that I hope you've enjoyed from this season. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening, for walking this path with me. And until next time, Stay close to your inner compass